Hi everyone, you're all very welcome to this week's lecture. This week we are going to be looking at using Word to produce documents and professional documents and reports, and also we're going to be looking at how maybe you can use it for your academic work as well. The learning outcomes to be addressed here. I mean, the first one's pretty obvious, it's negotiating Word. The next one here is using it's part of the knowledge and skills that can feed in towards your professional development. What I'd say is, again, I know there's a mix of experience in the class. So for those of you who aren't so sure about using Word or so confident in using these kinds of programs, this is a great chance and an opportunity for you to go through it really simply and easily. I'm going to have a document, an unformatted document. I'm going to go through a number of tasks with it and you can follow along with me, and I think that'll really help you there to get to grips with things. For those of you who are quite confident, what I would say is that I think I would hope to be something in here for you also. I mean, I'm pretty technically savvy. I'm used to using a lot of different programs over the years, but in trying to think how I could teach this class to you all and to get something for everybody, I've actually found things that are just I've overlooked that I didn't realise were there, little workflows and little tricks as well, which I can't believe have passed me by. We get so used to working with a program in the way that we're used to when we first come across this. Sometimes we don't kind of stand back and go, hang on, what else might be here for me? So just have a look at what we're going to be covering and just go through it with me. And I think for those of you, as I say, who are used to it, I'm hoping you'll get something out of it as well. Okay. So quickly, I'm going to look what the basics are. Okay. We'll be looking at things like how you can have a look, use your views to get the best look at your work as you're working. Basic formatting here. Looking at margins. Keyboard shortcuts is a very handy one as well. So I'll be looking at that. Again, it's managing your workflow. Okay, this is supposed to get you working and getting you to the end goal as quickly as possible. Okay, to be confident with using Word. We'll also be looking at some of the academic formatting conventions there that you'll be asked to use in your various essays and assignments. Going on a little bit further on then, what we'll be doing is we will be looking at reports. So basically making a professional looking document. We're looking to have a table of contents that link to the headings with a nice cover page. Making the tables look well, making use of the design templates and the design formats that are already in Word that can make a very basic looking document look very attractive. Also, we're looking at footnotes, reviewing your work, getting your word count together, your spell check, and then at the end we'll be looking at saving your work and just taking into account that when you're in the workplace in particular, often we'll be working with documents that need to be secured, that might have confidentiality issues. So how you can save it as a PDF, stop it being edited, lock it, password protect it, put a watermark in it. Also as well that you can track if a document is if you're working with it collaboratively with people, that you can make it obvious as to whether it's the final document or not as you go along. Okay, all of these things are quite simple and it's not going to take us long to go through everything, so hopefully by the end of this now you'll have a good grasp of it. What I do want to say is I'm going to be using Word 2013. I think most people, that's what they'll have. If you're using a later version or an earlier version, look, they're very similar. I'll have links to other versions online for lynda.com, for example, that you can have a look at them as well, and also for Mac I'll have some links on there. Generally I think that'll hit the mark for everybody, the middle mark there, if I use this version 2013. Just to say though, I've been on to you before there now about the Office 365. For those of you who may not have done that, maybe I suggest you do it. It's a fantastic resource. You'll have access to Word and Excel and PowerPoint, plus you'll be able to back up your files online. We'll touch on that again at the end of the lecture. I'll just briefly talk about that again, but just to say, you all should have got a link sent to you from IT for this, but if not, or if you can't find it, if it's gone into your trash or somewhere, if you just follow the link, webmail.griffith.ie, just put in your first name and your surname at student.griffith.ie, just follow that format, and your password is your date of birth as normal with a capital S on the front. So just try that, see how you go. Any problems, so you can come back to me. All right. So look, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a Word document that is completely unformatted. I'm going to work through it. I'm going to make various changes to it along the way. I will have a version of that also on your Moodle page, so it'll just be below where the online lecture is. So what I would like you to do is I'd like you to open up the version of that. It's a really simple document, and pause it every time I do a task. Try and do the task that I've done and move on, okay? So follow me along the way. If you're running into any particular problem though, don't lose too much time over it. Maybe move on to the next task, and you can maybe drop me a line and we'll see if we can get you through that, okay? All right, so here we go. We're going to start now working with our unformatted document, all right? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a little look here at the menus. Here's my file menu here. My home is where we're normally going to be. Insert for putting in a picture. That's really all we're going to do today with that option. Design, we're going to take advantage of some of the preset templates to make our document look well. Page layout, there's any number of things we can do in here. We'll pretty much be looking at the margins as regards today's class. References is where you will go to do some of the academic formatting we're going to be having a look at here. Okay. Mailings, now we're not really going to look at that today. I'm going to have some sort of a link up there for you for mail merge, and that if you want to send out a letter to or an item to any number of people, to a large group of people on a mailing list. It's a really good thing to be able to do. But I will give you links to that. It's not something we're going to do in any assignment here, but for those of you who are interested, I'll have something up there for that. Review, we'll be looking at spelling, at word count and the like, okay? And a view. This is what I'm going to look at here. You'll notice there's a little zero here. Like I have that plug in here. We're not going to look at that today, but just that's a little clue as to one of the things we're going to do for your main project. Alright, we're going to be using that later on. But for today, we're just doing the basics. So I'm going to look at the view here. If I look at this at one page, it'll fit everything in. If I want to zoom it in, I can zoom to 200% if I want to do very close. I can also just go back to 100% here. Alright, so that's the kind of the actual size. I just tend to like looking at that. I like to be able to see the margins and that. It just suits me. You'll find your own way for it. You can also look at multiple pages. That can be useful as well if you want to see over an entire document there. So that's a handy one to have a look at too. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to my one page. Okay, now I don't actually have another document to open here at the moment, but that view side by side one is a nice one. If you've got two documents open at the same time, that would allow you to click on it and you'd be able to compare the two of them beside each other. That's very handy. Okay. I'm just going to go into the read mode. Sometimes you might get that if you're sent a document, and that can kind of confuse people. How do I get out of this? So what you do is you just go back, into your view, your edit document mode there, okay? So read mode, if you want to get out of that, go back into view, you just want to edit document. It'll bring it back to where you normally are, alright? Going a bit closer there. Okay, so that's just generally having a look at these. What I would say is that using this, and when we're using Excel and all our various programs, basically what I'm at is I want to get you in and out of all of these different menus here, so that you kind of are used to it, and there's no mystery involved. You're used to getting in and out and exploring. Okay, that's basically what I'm getting at here. So first one though is we're going to go to home, and look, most of you will be used to using this one here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some academic formatting that you might tend to be asked to do. Okay, I can select a paragraph at a time here if I want to, but I just want to show you. I could select all. If I go over here to the right hand side of the screen, I can click on select all here if I want to. Okay, now I would tend to use key commands, and over the time I'm going to encourage you to do that. I'm going to click on select here, right, and I want to select all. If I hover over here, it just gives you a little clue. You see control it's disappeared again here now, control A. Okay, so it's trying to teach you really. So if you press your control button, plus the A button at the same time, you select everything. So I'm going to do that now on my keyboard, Control A, everything there. So I try that if I were you. For those of you who aren't too sure, it's a really great keyboard shortcut. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the font type. Go up here, and I'm going to change to Times New Roman. I can go down here, I can find it, or I could type it up here if I like. Times New Roman. Okay. Now your lecturers may or may not want you to do your assignment in Times New Roman. I think Arial or something like that is often kind of acceptable now. But just to show you how you can change them, that's it. Okay. 12 point would be the normal size that you would be asked to do. Your line spacing is here. If I hover over it here, it'll jump up. So if you're not too sure and you're trying to find what you're looking for, just hover over them here and it should pop up. Okay, so I want my line spacing here. I'm going to click on that. 1.5 when you're doing your assignments, 1.5. Okay. The other thing that we could do is, sorry, I just do Control A again. That shows everything there. I want to justify it. This is generally justified to the left. That's the default. If you want to center it, you would do that, or to the right. You would never really do that for an assignment, but it'll either that way or justified like that. Okay, so you've got like the straight line down there. Okay, so it tidies it up some way. Okay. Okay, the other thing is now what we might want to do is, depending on what your lecturer asks you to do, I'm just going to select all of that. Actually, I'm going to put it to the left. It looks a bit nicer for this. Okay, left aligned. Let's say I want to change the first line here. Okay, I can change this in the shortcut here. Okay, I'm going to go to my view here. I want to find my tab. So if I go up to view, I cannot see basically my margins here. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go up and I want to see my rulers, actually is what I'm looking for. Rulers is the word, okay? So often they can go missing on people, so it's very good to know. If you can't see something, go to view, you'll find it. Okay. If you see here, there's actually three different elements to this. There's this thing here I can move up at the top, the little one here at the top, that moves the first line. Then there's, oops, that one there. Okay, that's moving both of them. Okay. If I see the square at the bottom now, right, I'm going to click on the square here. Oops, that moves everything. Look, just fiddle around with that now for me now, if you could. What I really want you to do is that can be quite useful, okay? When you're writing, you will often be using quotes, okay? You'll use a block of text, and you need to show that that is something that you're quoting from somebody else, okay? So for your essays, this is really useful. I'm highlighting that, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring this over, and then I'm going to go over the other side, and I'm going to bring it over here, okay? And I'll justify it actually here. I'm going back to home. Okay, so if you just want to go and do that for me, I'm going to do another little keyboard shortcut here. It's called Control Z, and I'm going to go and do. I could do this either, undo. I could keep on doing that to go backwards. Okay, or I could do Control Z. So highlight your paragraph. I want you to bring everything in here. Oops, sorry. I want you to get the whole lot over. I want that entire side and this entire side, okay? So when you're doing a block quote, this is how you do it. If you look at your Oscola, it'll mention it there for you, okay? It's justified like that. Okay, so I'm just going to undo that. The next thing I want to do is I want to change my margin. Let's say I want to fit more in. Okay, I'm going to go to my page layout here. I'm going to go into my margins. There's a lot of kind of default settings here. You can do a customized margin if you want, and you could change everything there if you wanted. This is kind of handy when you're maybe doing a document and you want to fit in everything. Okay, it's not all printing out for you. It's just good to know it's here. Okay, I'm just going to do an automatic for a narrow margin there. See, it's changed everything. I'm going to do Control Z, and I'm going to undo that. Okay. So look, there's some very basic formatting changes. Okay, we selected everything. We've changed the word, we've changed the times, we've changed the size, we've done the line spacing, and we've learned how to manipulate a paragraph so that it's justified. Okay. Now what I want to do is I kind of want to pretty this up a little bit. Okay. Often with a document, you when you receive a document, there's a nice cover page, there's a nice table of contents. Okay, that is really simple and easy to do. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Insert here, and I'm going to insert a cover page, and you got some defaults there. Okay, so there we go. That's simple enough. Pick whatever one you like. Just make sure you don't leave anything blank by mistake. So I'm just going to put in library here. See? And I'm going to say, I'm just going to put Dimfin in here. Let's pretend it's me. And I'm going to say Griffith Library. Don't leave something odd and peculiar blank there like user. I'm going to put author here because this is going to be useful to us later. Okay, Dimfina. And I'm just going to get rid of, I'll just put GCD, sorry, here. Okay, there we go. Cover page. You can change this if you want. Okay, if I can click on it here, let's say I'm going to go back to my home. Do you remember we had our font sizes and that here? I can make that bigger if I like. Make that a little bit bigger also, whatever. Okay, so you can play around with that. That's my contents page, cover page I mean. Nice and simple. Okay, so just insert one for yourself there. Just go back and do that. Insert cover page and play around with that for a moment. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to do a contents page that'll link to all the headings. So let's say I've got a long document. I want everything to link up. So I'm going to go to references here. Now if you can't remember where these things are, look, you just have a little wander around and you'll remember. Okay, references, table of contents. Okay, and again they can make them look, there's nice little presets for you there. Okay, now it's done a little alert for me here because I haven't got it linked to anything. I want a linked table of contents. Okay, so in order to do that I need to tell the contents where it's to link to, what the various headings are. So I'm going to select Library, Services and Facilities. We're back in our home menu here. I'm going to change this to heading 1. Okay, and I'm going to change this because this is a little bit of a subheading. I'm going to change that to heading 2. Or heading 2, make it nice. Okay, so I'm going to change this to heading 3, was it? Yeah, we'll change all of them. Resources held in the library, that's a heading 1. Copy what I'm doing here now when I've finished. Okay, so for the main headings it's heading 1, heading 3 for the next ones. Alright, look, that's all we'll do. We don't need to do the rest there now. That'll do fine. Okay, so I've got a whole load of headings here. Now if I go back up to my contents here, do you remember the way I couldn't find anything? If I update that now, it's found everything and it's got the page numbers and everything there, which is great. Okay, if I make any changes here, let's say I get rid of that. If I click on it here, it'll update it and it'll get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to undo that because I want that library classes to be back in again. Library classes. Okay. So if you're ever in doubt or you've made changes down here, just go back up to your update table. I'm going to update the entire table. Okay, everything. There we go. Okay, simple. So what I would like you to do now is I would like you to go back into your references there, go to your table of contents if you can, insert that. Okay, and then I want you to turn these into headings as you go down along, and when you've changed them into headings, you go back up to your contents there and you update it. Okay. Now the only problem with this is you wouldn't really have the main body of your text directly after your contents page, so I'm going to insert a page break. Insert page break. Oh, there we go, next page, done. Simple. So we've got a cover page, we have a nice linked table of contents, and we have our body of text here. I'm going to save that now. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to put in a header. I'm going to click up here, anywhere. If you click up in the header area, you'll see something appear there. Okay, so I'll click away, clicking outside of it. Okay, you click it up at the top. Doesn't matter what page, because this is going to appear on every single page. I'm going to click up here. So I could put some text in here automatically if I wanted to. Dymphna. Here we go. Click away. There it is. Top of the page. And it is at the top of everything there. Okay. So I'm going to click back up here. I want to change that. I'm going to delete that. Now, as I click up here, right, can you see that is going up to your header and footer tools? It's done that automatically. I click away from it. Okay. It's gone. I click back into it. Okay, it automatically brings us up there. So this is a handy little thing. I could type these things in myself, or I could let the computer do some of the work for me. Okay, so I'm going to put in the document info. I'm going to put in author. Okay, it knows it's me, because remember, up here I wrote my name up here, the cover page. Also, if it's my computer, it's going to recognize it as myself as well. Okay, it's quite intelligent in that way. Okay, so I can do that. There's also some nice little templates up here as well. So if I go over to my header here, I could make it look pretty like that if I wanted to. Change that around. I could also do this. Let's say I want to have quite a few little bits of information up here. This gives me 3 blanks here. I could type these in myself, or I'm going to put in the date and time there. Selected it. I'm going to click that. Okay. Here, I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to go for some of the document info. Let the computer do the work for you. File name, that's where the document is saved. If I click here, what else could I put in? The author. Okay. So let the computer do a lot of the work for you. I mean, it really is quite intuitive. You can manually put it in or just use it there. Okay. So let's say if I want to change that or edit that out, I don't like it, I've changed my mind, just get rid of it, just delete it. It's fine. Okay. Alright, the same goes for your footer. Do you see the way this is in all of them here now? You can see the header there in all of them. I'm going to do a footer now here. The thing you tend to put in your footer, look, it's very the same, header and footer tools, page number. That'll be kind of a normal thing to put in here. So I am going to go here, and I'm going to go bottom of the page, simple, or I can make it look, choose a pretty template one there. There you go. Okay, something really simple there. Okay. And that's on everything, and it does it automatically. Okay, so see how we're getting there now, and everything is linking up. It's nice and intuitive. I'm just going to update that table there. Update entire table, there we go. Yeah, because I've moved things around a little bit, so it's worked out where the page numbers are there. Okay. Okay, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to put in an image. That's another thing you might often find. So if you go to insert here, picture, if you've got something saved on your computer, it'll bring it to you here. You can browse to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go online for a second, and I'm going to get something and just drop it in. Okay, so I'm going to go to Chrome. I've got some little search here. Take a nice picture of this lady here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to right click. Remember, I right click from before, it's really useful. Right click on that. I'm going to copy that image, and I'm going to paste it in here. Hopefully that'll do it for me now. Okay, I can right click and I can do paste here, or I could do a little key command, and if I do Control V for paste, that's another common one. Okay, so Control V for paste. Okay, so she's there now. Now there's a couple of things I can do here. Is I could make it bigger or smaller. Okay, make it a little bit smaller there maybe. If I click on this here, right, see the way this is popped up, I click away for a minute now, so we just have the normal headings here. If I double click on her there now, see, these have come up. So I could put a little effect, I could do it roundy, I could do a shadow underneath it, whatever works here. There, do a very obvious one there so we can see. So that's done. Now what I'd like to do is with that image is I'd like to have the writing go around it. Okay, I can't really move her around very much, it doesn't work very well. Okay, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click on this image here. See the way this image pops up here? If I click on that, it has a thing called a wrap text. So I'm going to pick any one of these. I'm going to use this first one here, square, okay? Oop. It makes the writing go around it. If it doesn't look right, just move it. I wasn't able to move it very well before. Actually, maybe put it down somewhere further where you can, it makes a bit more sense. Okay, so she's right in there amongst all that writing there. Do you know why this looks peculiar? It's because it's justified to be centered. I'm going to justify this to be left here. Okay, and it just looks a little bit better around it there. Okay. Change the effect actually a little bit now, so the writing looks a little bit better because that shadow underneath it was actually part of the picture, so it's pushing things down. It looked a little funny. Play around with this, okay? So I'm going to ask you to pause here, and I'd like you to go and insert a picture. When you have inserted the picture, I want you to double click at it. I want you to do a little effect, a nice little small tight effect maybe. Then I want you to click on the image again. I want you to click on these layout options, and I want you to choose square. Okay, and then when you've done that, then you'll be able to move it around to your heart's content, and just have a look. Move it there. There's now. It's looked quite nicely aligned there. Okay. Another thing I want to do now is I want to look at bulleted texts. Okay, bulleted lists. Sorry. So if I select these things here, okay, I'm going to go back to my home tab again. A lot of the basic formatting, it goes back here. Do you remember? Font size, type, all your headings and all of that, okay? I'm going to select these and I'm going to just go up here, click on that, bullets, there you go, done. Okay, now I'm going to undo that for a minute. I'm going to do it again with numbers. There we go, so it does it as numbers. So you can play around with that. There's another thing that's actually very handy with lists. You know, sometimes you can have multi-layered lists. I'm going to undo this now again for a minute. Control Z is undo. Control Z. I'm going to have a little link to all these keyboard shortcuts at the end, okay? Control Z is undo. I could go up here to undo as well. But I'm going to select legal databases and useful websites. I want these all in sort of a bulleted list, right? Do you see the way I have these so that they're tabbed over here? Okay. This will make it looks a little bit better. If I select this, right? I have them tabbed so that you could tell that these are sort of subheadings. If I select them now, do you see this here? This is a multi-level list. I'm going to click maybe on the first one here. So that's kind of a useful thing. Okay, I'll just undo that for a second. If I didn't have them tabbed like that, and I did that multi-level list, it you know, nothing really would happen. Okay, so you have to put them in the position that you want. Okay, just for yourself. So it's quite intuitive. Tab, 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 tab. There you go. Okay, so select them all again. Whoops, select them here. I'm going to go my multi-level. There you go. That can be very handy as well. Okay. Now we're going to briefly have a little look at tables as well. Okay, we're going to have a little look at tables as well here. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this picture in a minute because I want to use this text here, right? Okay, I'm going to put that down there, okay, like that. I can draw a table if I want to. If I go to insert, I can go to table and I can draw a table like that, right? I can do what I like with it. There, I can type in here. I can write what I like. I can reformat that whatever way I wanted to before. I can change the writing, the colours, anything, right? I can change the size too. That's a very useful thing to be able to do. Okay, you can build a table. I'm going to show you a quick way of doing it though, okay? If I click on this here, okay, and I double click on it, see up here again, these nice things have arrived. This is a little design views, so these can make these tables look quite attractive as well. Okay, so you can do that. The other thing I'm going to do is that sometimes you will have, this is a handy trick. I must say I liked this trick when I came across it. Okay, oh, delete these, right? Let's say you already have the text. You could build a table, you could copy and paste it in, cut and paste it in, or I'm going to select all these things, right? I want to turn this into a table. If I go back up to insert here and I go to table, If I go down to convert text to table, this is a really nice thing. I got to put 2 columns in there, and I click that on. It just turns it into a table automatically for me. So that's quite a nice thing. The work of seconds and the work of moments that was, okay? I'll double click on it. And I'm just going to use one of these, whatever works for you. Okay, that's a bit funny looking. Now we might choose a slightly different looking one. Now, I mean, look, that's not a great example in that there's a lot of writing in that, but it's just the idea of knowing that you can do that, okay? So that you can select a whole load of writing, a whole load of text, and turn it into a table. So what I did was I selected the text I wanted. I went up to insert, table, convert text to table. I'll just use one column there, you see. You can do it like that, whatever works for you. And then let Word do the rest for you, okay? Okay, so look, we've pretty much covered a lot of the things that I'm going to be asking you to do when it comes to your assignment later, alright? I just want to show you quickly here actually about footnotes as well. I have a footnote here, some text here for you, okay? When you are typing, okay, let's just say I have written here this sentence. I want to cite a case or something here. This is really handy, okay? I go to my references and I can insert a footnote here. This is very similar to your school, okay? So if I click one there, boop, it comes down here. So you can type it in whatever you want, or copy and paste, whatever you're doing there too, okay? So that's a nice handy little one as well. Okay, so again, play around with that, use that. That'll save you quite a lot of time as well. You can build a bibliography for yourself here as well. I don't want to go too far into that because, as I say, we're going to be looking at Zotero later, and that's going to help you as a nice plugin here. It's going to help you with your referencing in your bibliography later for your main project. Okay, I have that plugin here, so you can ignore that. What you will be doing for the moment until we do our Zotero project is you go to references, insert your footnote. Sorry, I'll go back up here. I'll insert another footnote up here. Insert a footnote. Okay, it'll put it in there. Okay, sorry, it's put 22 there now, so it's updated itself there. Okay, so play around with that again as well. All right, get rid of this and I'll put it in here. Okay, get rid of 2. You can delete, you can change these things around as all you want. Okay. Okay, so look, one of the things that you're going to be doing as well when it comes time to putting up your assignments is you're going to want to be reviewing your work. If I go to review here, you can do your spelling and grammar. I've probably got loads of mistakes in here now. Okay, so you can go through that, play around there. I can ignore that if I want, ignore all of them. So say if it's my name, Infinite, I just tend to say ignore all, and I'll add it into my dictionary, so I can do that. The other thing is you can have a thesaurus. So let's say I would like to find that. Click my thesaurus, okay. I selected a range, I clicked on thesaurus, there you go. Gives me a whole load of different versions there as well. So that can be really handy. Likewise, if I just highlight a word and I right click on it, I can get a synonym, and that's handy. Okay. Word count, again, also kind of essential. Maybe you all know this, maybe you don't, but if you don't know it, it's a great thing to be able to do. Okay, I clicked on word count and it's showing me everything there. All right, that's the words. Excuse me. Okay, so look, we're nearly done. We're pretty much done there. Look, I've just done quite a few different changes there. One thing I didn't actually show you that I do want to go up to here is the design layout. Now that we're done, before you put something in, you might want to just have a play around with this before you submit a document. Okay, if you go to design, if I go here, there's a whole load of different styles here that can be very nice. I could change the colors as well if I wanted to. So mess around with that, okay? Because that can change the whole look of a thing also. So that's starting to look kind of a little bit more attractive there. Okay, so I've got my cover, my contents, my footnotes, sorry, my footer and my header. There we go. Okay. So let's just say I'm finished with my document now. What I would like to do is this, is I'd like to save it. I'd like to save it as a PDF because I want to send it to somebody and I don't want them to make any changes to it. So if I go to, I go back to File and I go to Save As, I can just save it as a PDF here. Okay, so let's just save it here. See what it'll do for me now. Okay, just converting it to a PDF. Okay. And there we go. So that's saved as a PDF. It's a document there. Okay, so nobody can make any changes there to that. Okay, just like an image file basically. So that can be useful when you're doing documents and you're sending them around and you need it to stay static the way it was. Okay, I'm just going back into my Word document again here. There's another thing you can do. I'm going to go back to my file. Okay, I can protect my document. And there's different changes you can make in here. I can mark that as final, as the final draft. I can encrypt it with a password. Choose a password. You can send it on to some clients there so you both know what it is. You might have a regular exchange of documents on a particular case or whatever it might be, and you'll have that password there, and you'll both, you know that your client will be able to type that in there and get access to it. Okay. And then the other thing is you can add a digital signature. So you can put that in there. Okay, now I'm not set up for that, but that is definitely something you might be using in your work at a later stage. Okay, and the other thing is actually, which I do want to put, is I want to put a watermark in as well. So if I go into my design here, okay, into design, do you see over here, it's watermark. I can mark that as confidential. That's an automatic one there. Draft is another handy one. If I can click on it again, you can do custom watermark. I don't know, whatever text there is draft, you could do for review, whatever it might be, whatever you put in. You could even put in an image if you wanted to. There you go, so for review, you see that there now. So that's another handy thing as well. So as I say, if you're working collaboratively with people, you might often find that might be a useful thing to do, just so that people know what version something is. You might even write version 1, 2, 3, whatever that might be. You could do that in the footnote, or you could do that here with your watermark, whatever works best for you. Okay, so look, that is the end of that demonstration. I mean, I hope that was useful to you. As I say, I just kind of went through a number of different tasks there. There will be an assignment based on a number of the elements of this, okay? So I release that to you, I'd say in the next week. I might give you an idea as to when that might be. You will be using that and you'll be doing an Excel assignment at the same time, okay? It's going to be simple enough, pretty much what we've done there, some version of that, okay? If you have any problems at all, again, really let me know. I just want to reiterate just for a second, okay? This is also for backing up your files online, just to make a mention of this here. Now, we may touch on this a little bit more in the live day if you all wish, but Office 365, okay? There's versions of Word on that, and that's the same for Mac users, for PC users, whatever, okay? So if you want to be downloading that so you can get to work on this assignment or work through these exercises, okay? And see how you get on with that. Just something else as an aside, Dropbox is a great one as well for backing up your files. Google Drive is good too. I'd say some of you might be using that as well, and that might be something to have a look at. Again, at the live day we might have a little look at that if people like. Alright, so look, that is essentially it for this class. I hope you found it useful. As I say, look, I'll give you plenty of warning in advance before any assignment on it, but it'll essentially be based on what we've done here. Okay, so there'll be no surprises. Alright, so thanks very much for your attention as always, and I will be in touch very soon. Okay, thank you very much, and as I say, let me know any problems, any teething problems with getting any of this to work. Just drop me a line. Okay.